Hello, George.
Hello, Maria. How are you?
I am fine. Somebody told me that on Sunday, TESOL Macedonia-Thrace Northern Greece members and board will have the pleasure of having you over in our nice, cozy Zoom space. Um, and this title, Posed for Beginners, has posed quite a lot of questions. And I thought, why don't I ask George to shed some light into the mystery, if he can find it in his heart?
Absolutely. First of all, you're not telling the people who are watching the whole story because
Of course not.
this event was created after your invitation, which honored me, the TESOL-Thrace, Macedonia-TESOL-Thrace invitation. So it's going to be a great pleasure to be there. That's the first thing. The
It's
second
our
thing,
pleasure to have you over, and it's been long overdue, actually.
absolutely, absolutely. The second thing is that apparently the title works because I always want to pick up intriguing titles, creating some kind of anticipation in the beginning, get a little bit the participants wondering what the title is all about, maybe look it up. And it can be read as posed, but actually it's posed. It's an abbreviation for positive education, which is one of my latest passions right now for the last 2 or 3 years. And I will try to provide an intro for teachers about the basic principles from my perspective, obviously using scientific sources as well, about what positive education is all about and how we could start or maybe set up a foundation for implementing it even in our classes, starting even the very next day after the presentation. So it's going to be a little bit theoretical, a little bit practical, all together as an introduction to this concept.
As I'm hearing you speak, I have this question. Do you think that teachers, as agents in their own classrooms, can become agents of change, and in this case, agents of positive education, despite the context in which they are teaching? So, can they become, let's say, can they bring positive education in their classrooms, even if the context in which they work does not show any particular interest in this?
That's a very good question, Maria. And at the same time, it's in a way multidimensional. If I am to answer it in a very sincere way, I think not they have to, they must, because I think must shows a stronger obligation. And not as a matter of duty only, but because from my experience, and I think this can be confirmed from everybody, for all the teachers and colleagues, maybe education is the only healthy filter right now that similar ideas can be channeled and conveyed to the students massively. Not all the families, and we cannot expect that the family will have these kind of resources. Other institutions, we cannot know whether people will actually ask for their help to intervene. So school, I think it's the best context for this idea to be implemented, even if the resources are poor. And here comes my next part of my answer to you. Positive education is something that has been going on right now since 2007. Actually started from Martin Seligman, who was the father of positive psychology. Obviously, the man, he was an academic, he was a psychologist, but he was the one who actually took the plane, went to Australia, stayed there for 7-8 months at a school and tried to see how this can happen in action. So there is bibliography, there is proof that this can happen. Everything is in a way scripted and written. So all we need, I think, is gradually trying to create this awareness to the teachers and give them some basic tips and ideas. So to start thinking about its implementation. We're not saying that it's going to happen overnight. And it's easy, it can be done, but it takes time. But, that's why we're here. And I feel this is the duty of any trainer to create this awareness and simply show the path. If the teachers are going to walk it or not, it's another story. But from my perspective, yes, I can prove that it can be done and it's feasible to be implemented.
Thank you so much. In your opinion, Can teachers who are, let's say, I don't like using the term, I feel a bit embarrassed using the term negative, but we've seen colleagues who are a bit, they always try to find fault with everything. Can negative people become agents of positive education, or is it our mindset that needs to be changed first?
Wonderful question, but I think in a way you provided the answer, which is going to be an affirmation that I'm going to deliver in the talk, and I'm going to prove that somehow everything starts from this stage of self-intervention. So yes, you need to start thinking, maybe I am negative, maybe I need to change, maybe I need to shift into a more positive mindset. Otherwise, it won't happen. This is the basic principle. So I understand that some people may have a more negative aspect or thinking about life, but definitely this can change. And thank you for this question, Maria, because it's time also for me now to clarify that we may be using psychological terms, but by no way, I don't want to be misunderstood that either me or any other positive educator out there is a psychologist. If there is a serious problem which needs clinical attention, then we're talking about another story. Here we are talking about basic daily interventions that people who simply being aware of all the science, the teachers, us, can actually be taken and take action with them inside the classroom. So we're not going to rediscover America, and we're going to ask people to reinvent the wheel. Here, we're talking about certain steps that have to do mostly with a change of mindset, has to do a lot with mindfulness, and has to do a lot with what is your own narrative at the end of the day. Is it positive or is it negative? You don't know, you don't need to go to the psychologist in order to get that. Or as I say all the time, one of the basic values of positive psychology is kindness. You don't need to read books in order to be kind. You don't need necessarily to visit a specialist to tell you how to be kind. This is something taught through experience, through example, and through how much you want to intervene inside yourself regarding this specific aspect. And the rest follows. I just gave you an example.
You did. And I would like to pick on something that you said. You said, as teachers, you're everywhere. You're on the cover of ELT News. You're an influencer. You work for a major publisher. You train teachers. You're, all over the place. How do you define yourself mainly as a profession?
That's a very difficult answer to provide. The title can be long, but I don't believe in titles. I believe, as we said before, you press the button. I believe a lot in action. I believe in what is happening. So for me, it's a way. Learning is a non-stopping way. It doesn't mean that if you achieve something that you should not go to something else and start learning something else and achieving something else. So that's basically what I do. I set up my own personal goals after a lot of self-reflection, I must say, and I try to achieve them. If the goal comes, then I move on to the next one. And as I told you before we start, I never give it, that much of a thought. I do because I enjoy what I'm doing. So, and you confirm that for yourself as well, and it can be shown how positive you are because you choose what you want to do, and this can be your fuel and motivation. And yes, definitely, everything can be achieved, at least if it's a product of personal choice, conscious choice, and of course, deliberate intervention and action. So that's my fuel.
Thank you so much for sharing this little teaser of your presentation. I think for more fuel, more inspiration, and more of George, join us on Sunday, the 29th of January at 10:30. There will also be a Q&A at the end. So TESOlites, join us on Zoom. Thank you, George. Thank you for your time and for putting together this presentation for us. We owe you one.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Be there, the rest of you. See you on Sunday.
See you Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye.